What's going on, y'all? You're here with international journalist, The Media Prince, and today I have the pleasure of sitting next to the beautiful. Let me just read you her titles, okay?
Oh wow! Go ahead, I'm listening.
A radio personality,
I am.
a TV personality,
right?
An overall media maven, and now another notch to her belt, author.
I am.
Miss Sunni and the City. How
Thank
are
you so much for having me. Thank you.
No, I want to thank you for allowing our platform to showcase your story, because there are a lot of people that need to hear it.
Yeah. No, you've been very supportive. I know we meet at Clair's.
That's exactly what we
Yes, we did, and you were just so sweet to me. So I was like, oh.
And then I think what's so dope about you is that people see the final product. They see the finished, the polished part, and you're like, no, I really went through some stuff to get to this point, and I went through some stuff that some of y'all couldn't even live through or even, imagine going through. So before we touch on that, let's take us back.
Okay.
When did Miss Sunni and the City get the creative gene? Like, wow, I really need to I'm a star.
I don't know if I ever got that, but when I was an intern, I remember there was this other girl, and she was also an intern. Her name was Capri. And we would always stand in the hallways of the radio station, and we would just joke around and things like that. She's like, you really need to be on air. Like, you just, and I was like, no, me. I had a really thick accent, and I didn't speak well. And I was like, no, I could never. And she's like, no, you really need to try it. And that's when just kind of everything clicked in. And I kind of learned the behind the scenes things of the radio industry, and I was like, oh, this is pretty dope, and I think I should just go for it. And that's when kind of everything started. I think I was 18 at the time, right out of high school, so that's where everything began. But it was just such a long road. I never looked at it as, I couldn't even see at that time this where I am now. That's not even, I never thought about that. Right. At the moment, I was just like, I just want to be behind this mic. Just here. Yeah. And because, I didn't speak well and I had this accent, I was so nervous. So radio was perfect for me because I just was like, I can just sit back here. Nobody can see me, and I can just let it all out. And I think that's where it started.
So we hear her every morning in the Washington, D.C., the nation's capital.
Yes.
On WPGC 95.5 every morning on one of the top radio shows in the market right now.
Yeah, Joe Clair Morning Show.
How is that experience, knowing that your voice captivates audiences every morning and they tune in just to hear your voice and what you're going to say? It's
pretty surreal because basically, the DC metro area has 6 million people. My country, Bosnia, has 3 million. So this area is twice the size of my country. So I'm like, holy shit, can I curse on?
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, there's so many people here, more than my country, that listen to my voice. And it's just amazing when I meet people, especially women who, I see at parties, and they'll come up and say, oh my God, remember when you said, and I'm like, girl, I forgot. We talk about so many things. They're like, no, but you said this, and it really meant a lot to me. Those are the messages that I really love. And that makes me appreciate what I do. Because a lot of times, especially in this climate, it's so much going on. It's so much craziness in the world, and it's a lot of painful news every day, and I used to battle with that because I felt like I wasn't contributing to the world. I thought that as of recently, oh, we just get on this and we joke around and we talk about stupid shit. But then when you meet people and they're like, I'm tired of CNN. I don't tune to you guys to be CNN. You brighten up my day, because when I'm in the office and I put on my headphones and I tune into you guys, that's what I want to hear. I want to laugh and I want to smile. And when I started thinking of it that way, it just made me appreciate my job so much more.
Wow, that's dope. Yeah. That's dope. Now, with that, of course, everyone knows your voice off Bucks. Now, how is it coming from behind the radio scope, because they hear it, to now visually you're everywhere now, your TV now?
Yeah.
How does that feel now, knowing that they put the face with the voice?
I am so happy that it's happening this way, because I'm doing more TV things, because I've become so comfortable in who I am and just being myself and opening up more and sharing, my personal stories on the air and things I do. So now when I do TV, it's just natural. you know, we're not used to reading teleprompters. Everything we say is who we are, and it's just from your gut. You know, so going into television, it's easier because it's natural. So if they tell me to read something, I will probably stumble because I'm like, I'm used to just being myself.
Right.
So it's just easier, and I think it was meant to happen this way.
Wow. Okay. That's what. So take us back to, you know, before you got to America.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you touch on it more in Still I Shine.
Yes.
Which explains her trials to her triumphs. You know, the lady we get to see here, but she also takes you down to her past and lets you really see the struggles that she really had to go through that helped her manifest into the woman she is today. So what was life like back home?
I mean, my life before the war was amazing. Mm-hmm. You know, we just lived in this little village, and we just had this really beautiful country life. And it was funny because my mom was reading my book, and she was just like crying, laughing at the stories before the war, because she was like, you were always that kid. I just wanted to tell you a story, because we weren't allowed to sit with the adults, and, you know, women would be separate from the men, and they'll be gossiping. And I was always in between, like trying to be like a little reporter. I wanted to tell you the story and what I heard, the village gossip, because we didn't have much, so that was like a thing. So I was just like,
you were already studying.
Yeah, I was always I was already studying the city. And my cousin in Bosnia, he was always a big radio star there. We had like one channel, and he was that guy. Mm-hmm. And I just remember like admiring, and I was like, wow, he really like talks to a lot of people. And I was just fascinated. But life before the war was great. And then obviously when the war started, like our world completely changed. You know, it just one day is like, you gotta get the hell out of here. And you wake up and you hear bombs falling, and like you walk outside and it's like the sky is red because it's literally like fall, you know. And even now thinking about those things, it's like a movie. Like I replay my childhood memories as like a movie. And I feel when you read my book, it's such a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. I literally feel like I've lived like 10 different lives in so many different, it was like so many ups and downs and so many different places and so many different experiences. And yeah, I mean, refugee camp was what you would think refugee camp is. And I just remember, I just used to always be so ambitious. Like I just was never afraid, I guess, to go after anything. Like I would, you know, figure out where like the food drop was or where the clothing drop was, and I would be the first one in line. I would like, you know, like the third refugee camp we lived in, you had to get a ticket. You had to wait in line and get a ticket to get approved to leave the camp for like a few hours. And they would have a bus with like an armed guard, and they would put us on the bus and take us into the city so we can like experience the city, and they would watch us. And then at a certain time you have to get back on the bus and take you back to the camp. But lines for this trip were long. So I would like scheme and like cheat, and I would like go in front of people. And my mom always tells a story how like one time she was waiting in this long line to get a ticket, and she heard these men like cursing, like, whose child is this? She's always scheming. And my mom said, I looked over, and it was you all the way at the front getting this damn ticket. And I was like, because I just really wanted to be a regular kid. I was like, I want to go to the city, and I want to like look at teen magazines, and I wanted to know what was going on, because they would bring you back to the camp, and it was literally like a camp. It was like barbed wire fence around, you can't leave. And I was like, I just wanted to be a kid. So I was always just so outgoing, and I was just like, I want to be a regular kid from everything that was happening.
Where does that spark come from now that you have worked so hard and you're now receiving the fruits of your labor? What keeps that spark now that wants you to just keep going and keep like trying new things and going to the next plateau?
I think it's because I look to her, and I always talk about my younger self as like a third person, because she was so just ambitious and she was just not afraid. And so even now, whenever I get down and, you know, I'm just not feeling it, or I need some inspiration, I always look to her. And I'm like, how is she so dope and so amazing in spite of everything that was happening around her? So I'm like, why am I complaining now or thinking I have it rough when my life is a million times better than what she went through? But she was always just so happy and just go lucky, and she was just like, we're gonna figure this out. Right. So I look to her for my inspiration.
That's dope. That's dope. I hope y'all taking notes that's listening. So TV, We got radio. I also forgot to mention she does stuff with Ciroc.
I do.
When does Sunni in the City find time to write a book?
I have a lot of free time. I work 4 hours a day on the radio, you know, so I'm very well organized. My friends, if you ask them, they'll tell you I'm crazy. I am very, very organized. I'm very particular. I'm always on time. I live a very structured life. And I'm a social loner. And that is basically like, people think that I'm just out and all this, but I spend a lot of time by myself. Even when I'm doing things, I'm by myself. And it just kind of gives me like this structured life in my head, and I just make time for the things I want to do. So there's time for everything. So, but it took me a while to write the damn book because I was writing it, and then I was like, okay, I need a break. And then I took like a year break, and I started writing again, and I was like, who would want to read this? Like, everybody has a story. But then I'm like, no, I gotta start again. And then I went to lunch with one of my friends, Tiffany Wagner, and she's like, where's this damn book? And I was like, oh, you know, I don't know if I can find a publisher. I don't really know. And she's like, no, finish this fucking book. And then she was like, but I have a girl that's gonna help you. And she connected me with my publisher, Ashley Graham. And Ashley read what I had, and she was literally like my biggest cheerleader. And she was just like, we have to get this book out. And then she got me an editor, and it was just kind of like, she was like my therapist, because she would call me with questions about like certain chapters, and she'll be like, so when you like went outside in Bosnia, what did it smell like? What did it feel like? Right. And I'm like, so what I was feeling at the moment, like it was just, I would be crying on the phone. It was a hot mess. Right. But she, you know, managed to just kind of like cut it down. And it was a lot of things I wrote in the book that I didn't make it. Because I was babbling on, you know. And I do wish that my book was a little longer, but I like where it's at because it kind of gives you can finish it in 2 days if you got time. And yeah, it was just my friends really motivate me. I have some really great people in my life.
That's what's up.
Who have heard my story, and I think basically they got tired of it. They're like, look, put this damn book out because we're tired of hearing about your stories. Like, this is great, but like.
But it is great because. Yeah. People already like you for just being Sunni in the City, but actually finding out that Sunni in the City has a real story, a real struggle, and she really put in work. That kind of makes the story of liking you even more, because it's like, wow, she really been putting in work. Yeah. So with that, would you ever think you would do another book?
I don't know. You know, because the book stops when I get to DC. Basically. Okay. So, you know, it starts from DC when I bought my house here, and then it kind of works its way backwards, and then it brings you back to DC. I don't know if I would do another book about my life, but I would like to write about, I don't know, some experiences maybe that I've seen, or like a collection of things, but I'm not very sure. I don't write a lot about my personal life in the book at all. Got you. And my friends were joking.
Smart, which was smart.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like I've just had a really like horrible dating life. Like, I'm not a date. I mean, I date, but you know, it's not worth Actually, it is, but
it's also
because my friends are like, they were like, when we come to your book signing, we're gonna be like, she didn't put this story in there because she, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna like put people on blast or talk about people. It's just.
And it's a small city. You don't know.
Well, not even here, but just in general. Like, people I've dated. I wrote about one guy, and because that was just like a life-changing experience for me. But it's, my dating life, personal things, like, it's just not worth really writing about. I don't know.
Got you.
I mean, y'all will probably find it very interesting. But no.
We got it. So, how is it playing in the boys club? Because you're on the Joe Clair Morning Show, and you've been able to really hold your ground and hold your seat and become like the thriving player on the show. How is that experience?
I love those guys, and it really helps the fact that we really like each other. You know, Joe and Guy are like my older brothers that I've never had, and we fight. You know, we've had disagreements on and off the air, in the studio, but we're a family, and you know, we support each other in everything that we do. But what we have on air is just like this unmatched chemistry that, you know, sometimes people say, oh my God, like, you guys really win on each other. I'm like, yes, because that's how I feel. But it's never crossing the line because we're professional. Right. And I'm not going to get on air, and if we disagree on something, like, really try to hurt someone's feelings. Like, I'm going to still express my opinion, but it's important for us to still when we're done, like, okay, we can agree to disagree. But it's amazing. I feel like having, especially women, be my core supporters, and you know, I am the woman on the show, but sometimes we'll disagree on something typical that women would like, and I'll be like, oh, I don't like it. And they may go in on me for a little bit, but you know, it's just, we are open. We talk about our lives, and they know what we're doing. They know about Joe's wife and his kids and his married life, and I talk about my personal life. So it's kind of weird though, don't you think? Like, people tune in and they're like, y'all want to hear me?
Little me?
Like, I mean, and I think that's just how I look at this industry. Like, I'm 17 years in. And
a vet, that's what's up.
Yeah, and it's just, to me, it's still, I still get nervous every single day, just kind of like, y'all really want to listen to me? You know, and that's how I just like to be. And that's just how I am, because it's like, no matter what happens and I get some huge TV deal or I become some, I don't know, like, I'm always going to be Vildana, and I'm always like, y'all want to hear me? I came to my book release and I'm like, oh my God, is anybody going to show up? Like, are they really going to like my book? Like, I'm still nervous about everything I do, just because I love it so much, and I just hope that people show the love back, because that's because I really love it, you know? Right. So it's just, I'm always
But
nervous.
That's dope, because you're showing the humility, and it also shows that you really love what you do. And I'm glad you spoke on that, because, you know, we're in the era of entrepreneurs everywhere. And due to social media, we're in an era where, you know, everyone wants to do what the next person is doing just because it's hot. You spoke about, of course, we see the progression, and we can clearly see that there's more wins for you because this is what you love.
Yeah.
What advice would you say to somebody that is particularly doing something just for the reasons of copying and not doing what they love?
Well, I mean, I don't think you should be doing that in the first place. This business is very hard. And I always say, if you really love it and you're willing to put in the work, it's going to work out for you, because it has to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did this, you know, before social media, before, you know, I started in 2002. So I didn't get Facebook till like 2009. So, you know, we didn't have people cheering us on social media, or, you know, knowing who you're actually talking to. Like, you did everything because you just loved it, and you just hoped that people appreciated you. And when we were out, people didn't even know us. You know, we would go somewhere and they'll be like, oh, I remember your voice. And that's what they would say. And that was kind of cool. So because we started so long ago, it was never for like, you know, like the clout, because there was no clout. Like, we would go places and they'll be like, who the hell are you? And then you have to tell them, and they're like, oh, okay, I listen to you, but they would never know who you are. And that was for years. And I think that helped us, for people who are vets in this industry, because we did it for the real love of what we do. And you know, it's hard. So I'm like, if you're gonna do it, you better love it, because there will be so many falls and so much disappointment. But once you get on and things start happening, it's like a domino effect. And I tell my mentees all the time, who, you know, I love so much, and they're grinding, and I see them progressing in their careers. And I'm always like, just wait, you know, just keep working. Somebody's always watching you. So you just got to keep working and be ready for your moment. Because when that moment comes, after that, it's going to be like a domino effect, and more things will come your way. And as long as you stay true to yourself and you work hard, then you'll be great. Because when you read my book, you'll see how many downfalls I had. And it was so many times that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to like switch careers and do something else. And I was like, I can't, because I don't love anything else. There's literally nothing I wanted to do. And I somehow always worked my way back into radio. But it was so many downfalls that if you read my book and you're not ready to take those same downfalls, you're going to be like, I don't want to go through that shit. It's a lot. Like, going through so much just to be where you are. Like, if you're not willing to take that risk, then it may not be for you.
Damn, I hope y'all are really writing this down and sucking this up, because I'm over here like, yes.
No, because so my mom, so my dad doesn't speak English, but my mom does. So she was reading my book. So she started reading the book, and we had this like really great moment, and she was laughing at all the stories or whatever. And then I came back to DC on Sunday, and she finished the book. So she calls me on Monday, And she made me so upset because she calls me and she's like, oh my God, so I finished your book. And it started off really great and I was laughing, but then like it made me sad. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because you went through so much. And she had no idea because we just, like in our college, we're not very like, I don't want to say close with our parents. I know they love us and all that, but we're not like, oh, how was your day? Tell me all about it. The things I went through in my life, it was like, I kept that to me and my people that were close to me, but I never told my parents about anything. Like I lied to them when I moved to Miami and I was like, I had this great job. Like I had no job. So when she read this book, she was like, holy shit, like you went through all this. So she calls me and she's like, and she was panicking. She was like, you went through so much. And she was like, I think you need to like, go take some classes and like do something else. Cause like, what if all this falls apart? And I'm like, are you crazy? Like you're supposed to read the book and be like, oh my God, you made it. But she was so scared that like, you know, this could happen again or something that she like panicked. And I was like,
which is probably why you didn't tell her.
Right. And I was like, Mom, like this happened like 10 years ago. Like that's the progression of people's careers. You go through stuff and then you establish yourself and you move on and you just move on up from there. And yes, you will fall and things, but you'll be okay because you already worked hard and there'll be other opportunities, you know. But she like panicked and she's like, oh my God, and you went through this and this and this and I just don't want it to happen again. Like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. So she, you know, she made me mad, but then I felt what she was saying because I'm like, you are literally the reason I wrote the book. And I talk about parents killing their children's dreams and for the simple fact of fear, So, you know, I always say I had to make sure that my dream was bigger than my parents' fear for me. So the reason why she panicked yesterday, despite me, you know, having 17 years experience, because it's out of fear. Because parents don't want their children to fail and they don't want you to be broke and homeless, you know?
Right.
And those fears are, especially in foreign parents who bring you to America and they're like, you gotta be a doctor, a lawyer, you gotta get your degree, and because that's a stable job, you know? And I was like, but I don't wanna have that job. And to me, I always looked at the negative things my parents were saying, or, you know, I never looked at it as like, wow, my parents are bad and they don't want, I just was like, wow, they're really scared for me. But I wasn't. So I was like, I had to make sure my dream is bigger than their fear because I could at any moment be like, you know what, they're right. So let me just go and get that nursing, you know, certificate or degree, whatever, and let me just go be a nurse somewhere, you know. But I was like, I don't want to do that.
Thank goodness you didn't.
Right, because I was like, I can't live for you.
Right.
I have to live for me. So if I gotta fail, like that's fine. I'm willing to take that risk. But parents are just not like that.
Right.
You know?
This lets you know that this is really your passion.
Yeah.
What would you say your 3 keys to success are?
3 keys to success. I think that my biggest key to everything that's been happening to me has been never looking at the things that I've gotten and things that I've achieved as something bigger than what they should be. Like I look at everything as like, wow, oh that's amazing. Like really, me? Okay, good. I'm just keep working. Like I just feel like I'm just this regular little girl who has like a fabulous job, you know, and I never let that make me feel like I'm superior or like I should be somebody, or like I just was like, wow, this is just this really amazing blessing that I worked so hard for, and I just really cherish it. And that's basically it. And I just stay to me, I do my job, I don't, you know, make any extra hoopla, like, you know what I'm saying? I just do my job and I stay out the way. That's how I say it. I do my job and I stay out the way.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
And I try to help as many people come on up, and I have a lot of mentees and people that I try to reach out to, and I'm always available, and, you know, people email me with advice and this and let's, you know, and I'm always down for that. And that's just how I try to live. Like,
and
that's the
why
biggest.
You always win.
I mean, yeah, like I just never look at anything as bigger than what it should be, because I'm always like, this could fail. And if I think of something as this grand thing and then it falls flat on my face, then I'm just going to be like, wow, I'm going to be so disappointed. So I appreciate my blessings, but then I'm always just like, keep it humble, keep it moving, and just do your job and stay out the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That sounds lit. So before I let you go, I have to play this game with you, especially since, you know, you're radio, you know the music.
Oh, do I? Lord.
So what I'm going to do is play this game called Either Or.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to give you 2 big hip-hop artists.
Okay.
The person you name exists. The person you don't name never existed.
Oh, wow.
Neither did their music.
This is kind of harsh.
Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac. And I'll tell you why. Do we have time to tell the story?
Go ahead, it's you.
So when I came to the United States, I loved Tupac. I remember I was in a car and I was listening to his song Changes. Mm-hmm. And I was just like crying. I was like, this is the greatest song ever. And I remember, I don't know if I was like in the 8th grade or something. And I was at like the lunchroom, 9th grade, something. And I was talking about Tupac and this kid goes, you know he died, right?
Oh no.
What? He's not here?
Well, that was a nice way to welcome to America.
And it was like, welcome to America. You know Tupac dead, right? Like, what are you talking about him? And I was like, no. I was so heartbroken. I was like, I'm never gonna go to his concert. It was just personal. But then I can't, like, I actually just like told Diddy this. How, like, I used to,
crap, yeah.
Yeah, I used to listen to Biggie and like Diddy, and when you know they like, watch their videos, and I used to like write down the lyrics and trying to like translate them, and I was like, so I don't know. This is hard. Both. Can we just both have them?
All right, we'll give you a Sunni pass.
Okay.
You only get one more though.
Okay.
So let's see, JayZ or Nas?
I would say JayZ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Eminem or J. Cole?
You making this hard because you're not from Detroit. So I'm gonna have to say Eminem just because I'm from Detroit.
Okay. Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Drake. I love Drake. I mean, you could have said anybody, but I would have been like Drake. I love Drake.
Okay, let's do one more for the guys. Let's do Lil Wayne or Kanye West?
Lil Wayne.
Okay.
Because we're the same age, and when I was 16 years old, and he was in the Hot Boys, and I was like, that was my man.
Oh,
and then he had his daughter, and I knew everything. Like, even back then, I was like, oh, Lil Wayne just had a daughter.
Oh,
so
yeah. This was your man. So
Lil Wayne.
Yeah. So
that was
that's
like
clear
my man
as
in
day.
high school. Yeah.
Peace out, Kanye. Which so far a lot of people have canceled Kanye.
Well,
so
you know, and he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. Like, polite, like smiling. Like, he's just a really nice guy. But no, Lil Wayne, all the way.
Gotcha. Okay, let's do the ladies. Let's do Remy Ma or Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj.
Okay. Little Kim or Trina?
Okay, this is hard. I'm going to need a pass for both.
Okay. So this your second pass?
Yes, it is. Because, and I have stories again.
Okay, go ahead.
I used to listen to Lil Kim's hardcore cassette tape in the car with my parents.
Oh, you took it.
Because they didn't know the English. And they was like, this kind of nice. I was like, yeah. And then Trina, Diamond Princess, was how I lived my life in high school. Because I was like, he better have some rims on his car. And, 24s. And Trina told me that he better have some money. Gotcha. So, that's your second I'm more humble now.
Well, the sad part is the new music is getting them back not out.
Listen, I love some city girls now. Don't play. Don't play.
Okay, let's do Eve or Foxy Brown.
Ooh, that's kind of hard because I like Eve. I met her and she's really cool. I never met Foxy Brown, so I'm gonna go with Eve.
Okay.
Just because of that.
Let's do Missy Elliott or Left Eye.
It's so hard. How many more passes do I get?
None.
I'm going off of like feelings, right?
Okay.
I just really loved Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Like, she was my girl. But I just remember like listening to Missy and how like she's so creative, and I just remember like loving her videos, and I was so into them. So I'm gonna go with Missy. Gotcha.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was Sunny and the City.
I'm surprised you didn't do Beyonce or Rihanna.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Beyonce or Rihanna?
Rihanna, just because I love her. Like, Beyonce, I want to, like, go to brunch with her. This is my third pass. You're going to have to give me one.
Okay.
Like, Beyonce, I want to go to brunch with her and, like, talk about life. And then Rihanna, I want to go to Vegas with. And party with her.
Okay.
You know?
So
Yeah, Beyonce's like, oh my gosh, she's just this amazing person. And I would want to like wear like a Michelle Obama dress.
Would you go vegan for Beyonce?
Okay, girl, no. But like I would have to wear like I call them my Michelle Obama dresses, like you know, the super classy. Like I would do that with like my pearls to go with Beyonce to brunch, and then Rihanna like would go to Vegas.
You could really show out.
Yeah.
With Rihanna. Okay.
So
please let them know where they can follow you at and where they can find your book, Still I Shine.
Sunni and the City, SUNNI, and not in. And the City everywhere. And then on Amazon, Still I Shine. It's the first thing that pops up when you type in Still I Shine. So.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This was Conversations with Miss Sunni and the City.
Yay, thank you so much.
This was Shot by MLB. No, thank you.
Thank you.
And we out.